In Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, in the first chapter, dedicated to Samadhi practice and the means of accomplishment, in the second sutra, Patanjali uses the words yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Yoga is oneness, consciousness. Chitta is the individualized field of awareness. Vrittis are the fluctuations and changes that occur in the mind and awareness that keep it ordinary or conditioned. And nirodha is the turning back of those impulses that stir the mind until they are pacified. And then Patanjali wrote in the following sutra that when the fluctuations that usually occur in the mind field and awareness are stilled, the seer, the one who sees or perceives, abides in itself. And then, when not thus self-abiding, attention is inclined to identify with externals. So the whole purpose of meditation practice is to elicit physical relaxation, calm the mind, and clarify awareness. And then you can experience your true nature as pure or absolute consciousness. And then Patanjali goes on in the text to describe various procedures that can be helpful to the accomplishment of Samadhi. One is the practice of Pranayama. Either the intentional practice using breath regulation to contribute to balanced flowing of the life forces and the calming of the mind, or spontaneous pranayama that occurs when you are poised and peaceful. Of course, in our tradition, we also teach a variety of pranayamas, including the one we call Kriya Pranayama, during which we circulate the life force through the chakras and up into the brain. After pranayama, when it is successfully practiced or successfully spontaneously occurs, then internalization of attention is easy, concentration follows, meditation follows that, and samadhi or oneness consciousness can be realized. Another meditation technique recommended by Patanjali is contemplation on Om. Contemplation, according to the dictionary definition, is to look at something with expectation of discovery. So it is not just a passive absorption in the sound of Om. You sit in the silence, you listen in your ears or around your head, and pretty soon you will hear a subtle sound frequency. The beginning of that may be the sound of your own nervous system, but then you will hear a steady flowing sound, continuous sound. You can take that for the purpose of practice as an aspect of the Om vibration. You let your attention be somewhat absorbed in that, and then contemplate its significance. Om is said to be the vibration of the power of supreme consciousness. It emanates from that which sends it forth. So you are attentive to that matter when you are listening to the sound that absorbs your attention somewhat, but you also contemplate, examine that which is the source of sound. And you let your attention flow to that. And then eventually you go beyond Om to that. which is identical to your essence of being. So contemplation on Om. Patanjali mentions in one sutra that Om, the vibration of cosmic power, is the indicator of Ishwara. He uses the Sanskrit word Ishwara to mean the aspect of supreme reality that regulates cosmic processes. And then he says that you should meditate on that, contemplate its meaning, but then go beyond it. So there are many approaches to the superconscious state and then the samadhi states when meditating. The main thing is don't be passive and involved in daydreaming or allow your mind to be dominated by restless thoughts and don't allow your moods to shift and so on. Don't allow memories to dominate your attention. It's common when meditating for thoughts to be random and for memories to surface, but in time, if you stay focused, and it's helpful when meditating to be focused here in the front part of the brain and the higher brain. That will help to internalize your attention. But endeavor to stay focused and wait and watch. And in time, your emotions will settle, your thoughts will settle, your awareness will become clear. Or when you are meditating, if you are aware of a sound, subtle sound frequency, or perception of subjective light, or have a sense of deep peace or even joy, you may for a time be so absorbed in that you are no longer aware of it being other than you, and after coming out of that, literally back to your senses, you have the memory that for that duration you seem to be that. That absorption of your attention in the object of meditation is a samadhi state. It is a samadhi with the support of that object of perception. It has value because it can stabilize your consciousness. But it is only a preliminary stage. You want to go beyond that, to experience your nature as pure existence being without the support of any object of perception. And sometimes that will happen when you least expect it. When you're meditating, sometimes you try too hard to get there or to know that, and your very trying is a barrier to the experience. So this is why we recommend that you have the aspiration to be self-knowing. You do whatever preliminary things you do in the way of invocation, practice of pranayama, use of any other useful technique, meditation technique, and then you leave off the technique. I remember Paramahansa Yogananda saying frequently at public gatherings that meditation technique is only a tool to be used to accomplish a purpose. And he went on to say that many people become very proficient in the mechanical practice of a technique, but they never get the results of their practice because they're too caught up in doing it right or hoping that it will cause something to happen. So you use the technique to focus your attention, to calm the mind, to clarify your awareness, and then you leave the technique aside and you rest in the silence, waiting and watching patiently. So by being patient, I mean cultivate self-knowing and wait and watch. And in time, there will be a shift of viewpoint, and you will experience that you are the perceiver, the observer, the unchanging, self-existent being, and you will be settled in that knowing.